Oh, that looks fire.
Are we live or what?
It appears so.
We are kicking this thing off. So as you jump into the webinar, the live webinar, jump into the chat. Who you are, what market you're from.
My name is Jason Cassity. I'm in San Diego, California. Nice to meet you.
My name is
Jason,
Katie in Houston.
You should put your ad up there, Jason.
Good call.
Gosh, Jason.
Which ad does Jason have?
At.
Not
ad.
Yeah, put your at because it's not your name.
It is.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
It's already up there.
different.
Why is yours so much fancier than ours?
I just put mine in the description, and yours must be
see the chat?
on your name.
Cool. So we've got a bunch of people jumping in here.
Is this being live streamed onto Facebook?
I don't know, but Eric, you should go live right now.
I just got a note that said note that said chat is disabled.
The chat's disabled. So
Fantastic.
that is why nobody is jumping into the chat saying where they are from.
Thank you, Kat, in South Carolina. Shout out Charleston.
Shout out to Charleston. If Jill could enable chat and the Q&A, because Q&A is going to obviously be something we need down the line here.
Maybe.
So whose idea was it to call it explode and then
That was mine. A
make people
foolish
type
idea.
explode in the comments?
Oh, no, I thought it would be kind of funny for people to type explode in the comments, and then I shifted to just post BAM in the comments. But
There we go.
Cool.
I see the chat.
there we go.
And I was the not so bright person to repost that on my story and not read the post and then wonder why everyone was DMing me with the word BAM. And I didn't have any automation set up. So I was like DMing all these people the link. So
Yeah, I've spent the last 24 hours responding to DMs and comments about BAM. I will
wait, you
never
don't have automation set up?
No, I'm gonna do that. I've always been nervous about it because I didn't want it to mess with my Instagram.
So my first tip on this is to set up mini chat, Eric.
Yeah. And this
is
is mini chat, MANY or MINI?
Manny.
Okay.
Mini,
Many.
M-A-N.
So if anyone uses the strategy that we used, saying comment the word BAM or comment the word explode, when someone comments, this mini chat that Jason just recommended could actually send an automated direct message with a link. So if you're ever hosting an event or a webinar, or you want to get emails or link clicks or something like that, definitely use mini chat. Don't do what I did because I'm a moron.
Dan O'Neill.
You're beautiful though.
Purgatory.
You're beautiful. We love you.
Yeah, thank you.
Dan O'Neill belongs in purgatory.
He's in Purgatory, USA. He
Did you
said.
see his video
It's-
today?
It's only purgatory for Dan is only a holding place before he goes to where he belongs, which is hell. Everybody knows Dan O'Neill is going to hell just
God, this is how
because
you
of his
started this?
because of his background on the walkthrough the last couple of weeks.
He wants to know
Is
what
Dan
your
O'Neill going to be on the
background
walkthrough this week?
No, Dan's not on the walkthrough.
Oh, trash.
Tomorrow's walkthrough is going to have Katie and Jason, professionals,
Oh.
professional backgrounds. If anybody's following Dan O'Neill, his stories today were some of the worst trash I've ever seen in my life.
is. He green screened you. That was pretty funny.
Basically, Danny Deals called out Byron because his walkthrough performances
Or more.
basically destroyed Byron's recent walkthrough
right,
performance. But anyway, let's get into the webinar. We got 100.
Let's jump in. We've got people from all over the place. Austin, Texas. What up?
What up,
Sacktown.
Austin? Sacktown. I was born there. What up, Sack?
We've got people from everywhere. Clearwater. Aloha. Love it. All right.
That'd be Hawaii, Byron.
That would be Hawaii. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to be talking about, as Eric likes to put it, how to explode your digital brand through the holidays. The next 90 days are critical for all of us. It's a huge opportunity as we go into 2023. Some agents are going to wake up on February 1st and decide to start all their strategies, all their business planning, and all their social media output after all of these convenient excuses that are coming up. And then others, all of us on this webinar, are going to decide to use these excuses November 8th, Thanksgiving, the holidays in December as opportunities to grow our brand on social. So glad we've got a whole bunch of like-minded people here in the room that all have the same mindset. And let's get right into it. Let's get super tactical because our goal here is for agents to map out exactly what they should be doing. We all know that we should be staying away from the turkey email that every other agent in our marketplace is going to send to their database, or the turkey Instagram post saying, I'm thankful. Thankful for referrals. These are not going to grow your brand. It's like the just listed postcard that just makes you blend in with everybody else. We're going to stay away with that and map out the content that you should be producing over the next 3 months. So let's go to start here, platform by platform. We're going to go Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to start. Let's go each platform. What should you be doing right now on Instagram as we go into November and December and all the other distractions? What's the content? What should we be posting specifically? We'll start with Katie Day from Houston, Texas. Miss Move Me to Texas. What should we be doing on Instagram specifically?
Well, so I'm a little concerned now because I was planning on maybe not just doing the turkey, but doing like I was going to draw a turkey with my hand and post that for Thanksgiving. Is that acceptable or unacceptable?
You know what? That might be better content than what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that was my first idea that I had written down was the turkey hand cutout for Thanksgiving. And then maybe something similar for Christmas. But no, I mean, I think that the value add content is always going to be king. Obviously, vertical video is something that we've been talking about ad nauseum, over and over and over again over the past, 2 years now. So if you haven't already started doing that, now is the time to start. If you're already doing it, I would double down, especially with the holidays coming up, travel, things like that. I would batch content, right? And get more content shot now. We're shooting with our videographer almost every week now to get as much content as possible. So we have that vertical content through the holidays and through the early Q1 of next year.
Katie, when you say batch content, how many videos are you getting done per hour? How many hours are you going for at a time when you're batching up content?
So as far as what you should shoot for, I would tell most people to try to shoot 5 to maybe 10 videos in an hour. When I sit down with my videographer, since we've been working together for so long and we have a workflow, I can shoot probably 40 videos in 2 to 3 hours, right? But like if you are new to batching content or you're not necessarily, don't have that rapport with your videographer or you're doing it yourself, I would aim for 5 to 10 videos per hour.
We're looking for evergreen content when we're batching, not timely news headlines, that type of thing.
Yeah. Things that you could post today or in January, right? So if you are shooting with a videographer and you have more timely content, always let them know, hey, these 5 videos we're going to shoot now need to be edited so I can post them, within the next week. But then if you have that more evergreen content or things that aren't as newsworthy, those could be shot today and posted, in a month or 2 months or 3 months.
We do know what the next 2 months are going to look like though, Byron. So we know that, not necessarily with the market, but we know Thanksgiving's coming up. We know, it's National Sandwich Day on November 3rd. We know the World Cup is coming up. We know Christmas, Hanukkah. So if there's content around that you need to start batching now, you could definitely prepare by looking at the calendar and seeing what holidays and shit are coming up.
100%. And then those principles, those core principles that you have in your business, those beliefs on maybe how to position yourself for the right investment or how to go out and but is the winter in your market the best time to buy a house? What have the numbers historically told us over the last 20 years about buying in November and December? That's a great breakdown, because if somebody's thinking about buying in the next 60 to 90 days, well, what's the last 20 years look like for buyers? Have they gotten a deal? Have they not gotten a deal in those months? Jason, month of November, December, January, what are you posting on Instagram? How are you posting it? What should we be doing on Instagram?
So I think Instagram specifically, those are your followers, right? Whereas some of the other platforms, they find you via their interests. Instagram is people who chose to follow you. So they're people who already kind of know who you are. So you can dive into a little bit of the behind the scenes, I like to say. So you can show off the ambrosia that you're making for your holiday party. Then you can throw it into your story and do a poll that says, do you put marshmallows in your ambrosia, right? So you can get a little bit more behind the scenes, being active with your community a little bit. And I'm dropping that because I make a mean ambrosia.
What the hell's ambrosia?
It's like fruit salad with yogurt and Cool Whip kind of mixed together.
Got it. Okay.
Don't put yogurt in, just do Cool Whip.
Yeah,
Just
cool.
do Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. Some people put sour cream in it. Anyways, so, but for Instagram, if you're putting in your feed, it's short form vertical video, right? Kind of what Katie just talked about. We know that. We talk about it on every BAM thing. It's 60 seconds or less. You have a great hook in the first 3 seconds. You add captions to it. Then you distribute it via Reels. You share it into your story. And then you engage for the next 30 minutes or so as that reel is starting to get traction. I mean, engage all the time, but like really engage in the comments for the first 30 minutes or so, making sure that you're replying to every single comment that people leave on your thing. But for the next couple months, like Katie just said, you should be batching content so that you're delivering more content, because I know what I do over the holidays is I'm going to these family events and I'm going to things and I'm on my phone more than I was during the normal days because I'm out working a little bit harder. Whereas during the holidays, you have all these, holiday family things that you're probably sitting at on your phone more often. So you actually have more attention during the holidays than you might during a random July week. So make sure you're putting out more content. And then secondarily, what I think is going to be a really good catch is instead of sending that text, that holiday turkey text or whatever, asking for your referrals, what you can do though, is you can spend that same amount of time you would be doing that and liking and commenting on all of your followers' posts, right? Because they're taking time to put their holiday pictures up and their picture of their family and their ambrosia or whatever they made. So you're going to go and spend that time and you're going to comment to them and like their posts. That's how you should be engaging over the holidays versus sending the canned one-on-one email or the canned group texts and emails.
I think too, in addition to commenting on people's posts, also sending those holiday messages through DM, right? So if you're sending a one-to-one video, I always recommend recording it in your phone app so it is higher quality, and then DMing that video to Jason, wishing him a happy Thanksgiving and telling him that yogurt in his ambrosia is trash, right? And so that's something that I would do on my phone and send it to him, and the algorithm, seeing that we're DMing back and forth, is going to reward me and my content, for that interaction.
Yeah, or do a disappearing audio message or something. But sending the text on the day of, text becomes so burdensome in my opinion. Like even just responding to text from my friends throughout the day. Maybe I sound like an asshole here, but I feel like I'm constantly just being inundated with responses to everything. Your clients don't want to get a happy Thanksgiving text or a why I'm thankful for you text. Like doing that beforehand, I feel like is a more personal move, because when they're at Thanksgiving, they're spending time with their family. They don't want to respond to their real estate agent necessarily.
I'll just let you know now, I'm thankful for you, Eric.
Thankful for you too.
The DMs is the hack right there. Katie touched on it though, because the algorithm rewards conversations in your DM very heavily, even more so than comments and stuff like that, when they're deciding who to show your content to in the future. If you've had a lot of DM conversations, your content's more likely to be shown to them in the future. So that's the play right there, Katie.
Yeah.
Scott in the chat, he nailed it. Sending personalized video messages in the DMs the week before Christmas, the week before Thanksgiving, the week before any of these key dates and key holidays is definitely the hack. Not the day of, when everybody, like to Eric's point, that everybody's doing it, but getting out ahead of it. And before the DM was built out with video and all the features that we have, voice memos and these kind of things, I was using BombBomb to do this a lot, right? And I would agree with everybody here on the panel. Do it in the DMs as opposed to an email. But the responses that I got from those video BombBombs about bringing up the experience we had during the year on closing on their first house and checking in on the kids, or, they just sold the house and moved down to, like, how's Florida for you and your family been like? What's that experience been like? Going deep in that video message for 60 seconds where they know I'm saying their name at the top of the message, so it's not some canned video that I sent out to 250 people in my database. I would sit there all day and do that. Your time, your efficiency on the DM, you can get a lot more of this done. And just in your day-to-day replies, sending a voice memo to people, I love it when people send me a voice memo, and you can go a little bit deeper and have a deeper conversation with people. Continue to fill up the Q&A. Martha, Justin, Karen, we see your questions. We're definitely going to address those questions. So keep filling up questions in the Q&A, as well as your comments in the chat. Eric and Jason, I think, teed you up for this, talking about putting out more content during the holidays.
Yes.
Obviously for an account like The Broke Agent, it's a time to capitalize because people do have more of this leisure time. So everybody in all of our communities as agents, the people in your community do have this this extended period of time where they're looking at their phone more. They've got a little bit more time off. They can consume more content, and they do gravitate towards what's going to entertain them in the moment. It's likely one of the reasons, not only you pushing a little harder during the holidays with the broke agent account, but because your account has entertainment in every single post, why more and more people will watch that during those times. What can agents do to entertain, but still hold that level of professionalism, especially if they're super professional and that's how people know them? How can they start to mix in entertainment into their content, knowing that's what people are going to gravitate towards in the next couple of months?
I think you have to be super entertaining in stories. People consume content differently over the holidays, over the weekends. Stories is what really hits for me every Saturday and Sunday. And it's going to be like that for the next 2 months. Feed posts kind of not really fall by the wayside, but they're not as consumed as much because people want to see what's going on with people's families and in their lives. So I think you could get super entertaining by showing your actual family and not even necessarily talking about real estate stuff for the next 2 months in stories, especially like around, Thanksgiving specifically and Christmas. What I like to do during the holidays is pick out these certain events and like map out my content calendar, kind of like how Katie does, like with exactly what's trending and going on at that exact moment. So I do look at the calendar and I see, okay, November 8th, elections, midterms are coming up. What should agents be talking about? Should they be putting on a specific hat or, political affiliation? Probably not.
Probably
Byron,
not.
you just came out with a video about this, about, how it's probably best to
Is
not.
that why Byron's background is?
Yeah, exactly.
what it
That's why
is?
President Lazine over here is, wearing a neutral colored shirt, but
Lazine 2024.
yeah, exactly.
I wanted this background because this is a real moment right now over the next couple of weeks to not take, to Eric's point, not take be apolitical, stay down the middle. I saw Christophe Choo do a really good job of this week. Christophe Choo, for those that know him in the chat, if you know who Christophe Choo is, put it in the chat. He's, one of the best agents in Beverly Hills. Christophe put an email to his entire database and he said, vote no to something that's going to be in Beverly Hills on the ballot. And it was the mansion tax. So he's not saying anything about voting left, right, or independent. He's talking about voting no to a very specific question on the ballot that would hurt the real estate market in Beverly Hills. So Christophe's a real estate professional in Beverly Hills. Here's a question on the ballot that would hurt our market. Whether you feel like mansions should be taxed more or not, that's a political viewpoint the answer is, if you vote no, it helps the real estate market. And so that's what he's doing as the real estate professional. There may be something on your ballot in your local market that is directly correlated to your to your real estate market, to the real estate economics in your town, in your county. Putting out an email to your entire database explaining the question and the implications of saying yes or no, because what will most people do at the ballot box when they get there if they don't see that piece of content, if they don't see your email, if they don't see your video explaining it? They're just going to go with whatever their political party is pushing. And it might not be, as a homeowner, the best answer for them in their community. It's why you need to be the source for them to be able to decide, well, I need to answer this question differently than I may be the rest of my ballot, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's actually exactly what I was going to say. So good work,
Good.
Byron. Yeah, thank you.
I know Eric didn't have the Christophe Choo example.
I didn't have the Christophe Choo example, but I was going to say to go over your specific measures on your ballot and relate them to your real estate market. I saw someone in the chat also say, shouldn't you talk about your political affiliation because you're being authentic to yourself? Do what you want, of course. And the people who post about who they're voting for, the people that agree with you are going to love you more and love your content more. And you're going to get a ton of engagement on your post. From a social media perspective, yes. But then, of course, you could be alienating half your audience. So that's just kind of the gamble you're willing to take, I guess.
I wonder how that plays in depending on where you live too, right? I mean,
Right,
if
of course.
if you're living in red part of Texas, maybe you let that, your political views leak out a little bit more than if you were in like a purple spot, like Pennsylvania, right? Something like that.
Catherine asks, would you do that as a social post or newsletter or both? I would do both. To Eric's and Jason's point about, how much do you show your personal views? My advice is do both, but be the reporter of the information, not the CNN, Fox News reporter where you're showing extreme bias in either direction. Be the down the middle reporter where you're just delivering the information. Here's what's on the ballot. Here's what they're asking you to answer yes or no. And here's how it will impact the real estate market. And just staying completely down the middle. I don't think that at 5 p.m., you can take your realtor hat off and start showing your political views on Facebook and that people are going to ignore that.
I would go blog long form too. So this doesn't just have to be a snippet of you doing it with like a green screen and actually explaining the article on social, because obviously that's really hard to do. It's hard to disseminate information politically and articulate that in a way that your audience is going to understand in a quick video that actually performs well too. So, doubling down on blogs right now and long form content and showing a versatility of your content creation and a different side and being able to word it without having to be worried about how you look on video, I think is another tactic when explaining something as important and touchy as like a midterm election and exactly how all these measures will affect people. So I would not forget about blogs and emails. And in order to do that, you should be plugging them in your Instagram. So that's also what I was going to touch upon, Byron, but I'll let you say whatever you're about to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in your community, if somebody thinks I've got a real estate need, which they only do once every 7 to 10 years, your name should be at the top of the list of 1 to 3 of the agents that they're thinking about reaching out to have a conversation with. And the more often you stay down the middle with high level information like Christophe recently did, and I see that Rodney says he even did a video about it, talking about how the candidates are against it, but here's the information. People are going to more often think of Christophe as he knows real estate. This is the guy I need to have a conversation with. Eric, as we wrap up Instagram, and keep filling up the Q&A because there's some great questions there that we're going to get to. As we close out Instagram, is there anything else entertainment wise we should be thinking about on our platforms?
Just look at what's going on right now. You have the World Series, whether it's World Series content. You have the World Cup coming up the 20th. I'm just trying to give out dates here, some pop culture references. Taylor Swift just came out with an album. Taylor Swift memes, Taylor Swift audios will be very popular. So you might want to include some Taylor Swift audios in the background of some of your content. This isn't a joke. These work like hashtags, but obviously we'll probably get into this as well. Original audio is still more favorable than adding a trending audio because Instagram removes audios out of nowhere and they're just promoting original content even more. Obviously Thanksgiving, you could do, here are some things I'm thankful for in the real estate industry as a hook. You could say clients I'm thankful for. You could tie in certain jokes like I'm thankful for lock boxes that, open quickly, or sellers that aren't here for showings, the type of usual horseshit that I am posting on a daily basis. You could literally go through my account and then steal some of those. I would also go through my account and just look at what I've posted in November, in October, I guess not October anymore, in December, and use some of those ideas as hooks. And then I would also scroll through Facebook pages and see what people are chatting about in Facebook groups and use those questions as hooks as stuff comes up. And then one more thing I want to say about Instagram, what I'm focusing on the next 2 months is building other platforms through Instagram. So I'll be utilizing an enormous amount of links to get people to follow me on Facebook, follow Broke Agent Media, join our email list, because right now we're seeing that Instagram is a very touchy platform. It just got hacked on October 31st. I lost 5,000 followers in literally like 2 minutes. It was horrifying. I thought someone exposed something that I said, or I posted a picture of my butt or something like that. I had no idea what was going on. And it turns out that Instagram just had a bug. So Instagram is very vulnerable right now. So I'm going to be focused on growing other platforms with link clicks in my stories and DMs.
And the number one platform everybody should be growing outside of the social channels would be, or even above their social channels would be their newsletter, collecting
Correct.
Email.
that data, building that database. So if anybody on your Instagram that you don't have their email, getting them over to your newsletter is
And can I just give
critical.
some quick tactics on that? I just did a video on this, but if you're trying to grow your email newsletter, do a downloadable PDF, first time buyer guide, seller guide, provide something of value. Or you could just literally put the question box and say, drop your email and explain what you say in your email. I give discounts to restaurants. I will show you my listings. I'll talk about the real estate market. I'll talk about my personal life, something like give them a reason to join your newsletter. So use the question box, use links in your stories, and then give them something of value like a webinar or an actual downloadable PDF. We've been doing a ton of ebooks.
Started to play with this a little bit too, because you can use sponsored posts to actually create an Instagram story that says DM me any word, right? And you use ManyChat to set up that automation. So you create an Instagram story that says DM me the word buyer's guide or whatever, for a complimentary buyer's guide. And then you run that ad to your neighborhood or to your marketplace, to your geographic farm, so that new people will see the ad in their story. They'll DM you the word, your ManyChat will go, and you'll collect their email. So and send them whatever you're supposed to send them to, right? So like obviously then send them a buyer's guide or whatever, but you can, so like one of my bullet points here for Instagram, but for all of this is put some money into sponsored posts right now. So like you could theoretically run that ad right now against not only your geographic area, but also download your CRM into a CSV and create a custom audience for that, and then run your content to that as well. So you can be doing that on two fronts, both onto your client base and your geographic area. Set up the ManyChat to DM the word X and start to collect emails that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Genius.
So before we move to Facebook, and we'll start with Katie again on specifically how we're going to use Facebook, and there will be some themes that flow throughout, but Facebook has changed a lot in the last 12 months, and it's definitely a different platform and different audience than Instagram. Before we get to that, one thing I think Eric highlighted was really pay attention to what's in the moment, right? What's going on? He mentioned Taylor Swift. So like Taylor Swift would be a yes, Kanye would be a no right now, right? Like if you got where Eric was going with that.
Yes.
Katie, let's jump into Facebook. What specifically is your strategy right now, next 60, 90 days on utilizing the Facebook platform, and break it down from personal Facebook page to your business page?
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't really do a ton on our business page, right? Other than post our listings, post our home tours, post our neighborhood spotlights, home tours and neighborhood spotlights or videos. And then also, the Keeping Current Matters auto post from KCM, right? So we don't do a ton on that. We use it more if we're going to run those retargeting ads like Jason just referred to. So uploading your database into Facebook and basically paying to put content in front of buyers, sellers, database, things like that. So the business page reach isn't great, right? So that's really, we just have it as kind of a holding spot for content, and then running ads to promote our content and that brand awareness. Most of what I do is on my personal page, right? So if that's real estate, it's normally highlighting team members and their wins, and highlighting, that they got a buyer under contract in a multiple offer situation, or they, helped a client and got 25K under list, whatever that may be. And then I've started to put some reels on Facebook. I'm trying to keep it more personal, right? I don't want to start putting, the same type of content that I'm putting on my Instagram on my personal Facebook page, because most of my friends don't want to see it, right? But one of the things that we've been talking about lately is going live on personal Facebook is still doing well. And just engaging with people on your personal Facebook. So I have friend lists broken down for people in Houston, for referral partners across the country, of other realtors and things like that. And I'll log into those specific friend lists and interact with, Jason and Eric in their Taylor Swift group to talk about, the new album coming out on tour and all that. And, so that way my content will show when they log into Facebook the next time. So it's the same thing of DMing people on Instagram, being very calculated in how you're interacting with people on each platform.
Jason, Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook's probably third or fourth on my totem pole. So I hope that I can weigh in here. I'm testing out. Scott just mentioned it in the chat too, is that the business reels or business page reels on Facebook are starting to see some organic reach, which hasn't been seen for a long time. So I'm testing that out a little bit. I think that you can natively upload it into through the Facebook app. and you might be able to find a little bit of traction there with a new audience that didn't, see it on Facebook. Typically on Facebook, what I'm doing is I'm either cross promoting my content or I'm doing engagement type posts. And those would be like, what's your favorite ingredient in ambrosia, right? Something that's completely completely has nothing,
for God's sake.
Marshmallows.
Some completely random thing that you just want to necessarily put in your Facebook, but that's going to generate interest, right? You'll see this after some sort of a conference too. You'll see 42 people type, how old were you when you bought your first house? And the point of the entire post is to get engagement on your feed, to then when you have something real to post, you can actually get them to see it. But so that's Facebook. When I'm spending a lot of my time is basically posting engagement type posts. And moving forward over the next couple months, I will be testing what Scott said with the business page Reels by uploading natively to the Facebook Reels thing on there.
Love that. Eric, what do you got?
First thing I do on Facebook is I check my notifications, look at my memories, and make sure there isn't a status from 2008 that I need to delete. I do this every single day, and I'm sure a lot of agents also need to do this because we were a lot freer with what we were saying back in 2008, 2009, when I was an asshole 18-year-old in college. So that's the first thing I do on Facebook. Second thing is I now scroll Facebook way more often because the feed is actually giving you stuff. So you could organize the feed like you can on Instagram, I think, into following and recommended. So there's a ton of real estate accounts popping up now that are giving me great content for the broke agent and for broke agent media. Third thing I do is I go into Facebook groups like Lab Coat Agents, our Facebook group, Top Producers, the Refer Network Facebook group, and I see what the conversations are. And I see, okay, is this something I could use for a hook for a video, or is this something that I could use for a post or a question? And then the fourth thing I do on Facebook is I am posting my Instagram Reels to Facebook. So I have that linked up where you could actually share them at the same time. But there's a huge difference in the Spotify and copyright rules with Facebook than Instagram. Jason Pantana was talking about that in San Juan Capistrano, Byron, where we were. So if you do something with audio, you will probably not be able to share that to Facebook as well. Facebook is just way more stringent with their copyright. But what I recommend doing is instead of filming your vertical video on the actual app itself, like TikTok or Instagram, film it on your phone. So then you could upload it natively to all 3 or 4 apps, including YouTube Shorts. So Facebook Reels is definitely something you should be focused on, even just doing status updates and spending more money on Facebook too, because Facebook organic reach has come back with an absolute vengeance because all this ad money, first of all, economic recession, people are pulling back on ad money. And then people are seeing, oh, TikTok's cheaper. TikTok's the option now. YouTube's the option. So all this money that was just sprinkled into Facebook is now being dispersed in other directions. So when it comes to running ads to a lead page or to something to get like your emails or to your actual landing page, I would be hitting Facebook way harder now than I was like the last 2 months. I agree, Jason. It's like my number 3 or 4 in my totem pole.
And according to Gary V, it should be our, sorry, Katie, according to Gary V, it should be our number 1 or 2 on our totem pole. So things are shifting and I think we need to pay attention to that. Katie?
One thing too, another vote in posting natively on each platform is if you post on Instagram and auto share it to Facebook, if for some reason you wanted to promote that reel later on Instagram, you can't promote it or put any money behind it. If you've shared it to both, it has to be natively posted on Instagram with no other post in order to put any money behind it.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Facebook groups either.
That was going to be my point here. Yeah.
Whether you're engaging in them or creating them, the engagement you get in Facebook groups and the community that you could get through it and the referrals you can get in Facebook groups, like you could become a known person. We had someone on our podcast, I don't know, like 3rd month into starting Over Ask, who generates like 80% of her business from Facebook groups because she's just constantly active in that Facebook group. So if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but it's a good episode.
No, and I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump into
Katie.
to the Facebook groups as my big thing for Facebook here. When I say Gary V's moved Facebook to his top 2, he has TikTok 1 and Facebook 2 right now. And for real estate agents, those are polar. We're gonna get to TikTok next, but those are polar opposites of each other. Facebook, you can go really deep on your actual community, the people that live in your community. And then TikTok's the total opposite. It's a very broad audience, and it's a way to grow all platforms and get more attention and maybe even get some PR that you couldn't get otherwise. But for people that are going to buy, sell, and invest that live in your community, your ability to get more listings, Facebook's likely the best. And the Facebook groups, every time I ask my wife a question about our community, she says, oh, I'll just go on the moms group. These moms groups are where shit happens. Like everything that I say to her, she runs to the Facebook moms group and asks them and then gives me the answer. I'm like, just get me in the Facebook moms group. Okay. So the other day, I want a more holistic primary doctor. She made the post on this moms group in Naples asking, who's the best holistic primary doctor that's not 97 years old. And all of these comments, people are like following this, because they also want the information. What do you think is going to happen here over the next 2 months when all of these key events are happening? Hey, I went to this grocery store. They're all out of this. Do you guys know of, as people are planning their holiday meals, and do you know of anywhere that's selling this item, right? Might be a loaf of rye bread or a specific kind of sausage or a turkey or whatever, right?
How
like
many food items you could imagine.
It could
Yeah,
be
what else are you looking for right now, Byron?
Thanksgiving.
Anything-
exactly. Byron can't find
anything-
a turkey in
Cranberry
Naples,
sauce.
everyone. Please comment which
Like-
grocery store you can get it at.
Like for example, Naples, Florida, you can't get a good, you can't get good sausage down there. You just can't, you can't get good, if you're in New Haven, Connecticut, you can
Right.
get some good sausage. Anyways,
Sure, I'm sure.
these are questions, especially in a market like that, like a Houston, Texas, where it's very transient. There's a lot of people moving in and out of Houston, Texas. There's a lot of new people moving to Naples, Florida. Maybe your community is different, but if there's a lot of people moving in and out, they may not know, and they're going to go into these moms groups and ask these questions. Not being on these groups and answering every single question is a huge, huge mistake. I don't know if Jason
He just
Would you
puked
throw up?
in a trash can or something. I don't
No,
know.
I'm good. Needed some water. Had a tickle in my throat.
All right. So there's Facebook.
One more on Facebook. Final
ahead.
thing of value. I use it as a testing ground, and I'll say this about Twitter as well. But because everyone is so much more precious about their Instagram and TikTok feeds, use Facebook to test content and test concepts. So if it's a real hook idea or something, maybe put that as text and put that on Facebook and see if there's good engagement with it. And then if
That's
you
good.
do get good engagement with it, you could use that as a hook for one of your reels or TikToks. Genius.
How about stealing the really engaging question on this group, clipping it out and using it in a video, either as a background or as something that overlays on top, like the text. I know one of the questions in the Q&A talks about like overlaying text, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. All the Q&A, keep filling them up. But taking that content that went crazy in the group and then using that in your content can help you stay relevant on all of the things that you're posting. Okay. Now we're going to go to TikTok. We all know TikTok's important to grow all these channels, but how important is it when we're trying to go deep locally? Because it's such a broad, wide audience. So Katie, what should we be thinking about? What should we be posting? What should we be doing on TikTok?
I think for TikTok, the two things that work out really well are not necessarily the same idea. So one would be going super local and highlighting all of your local things, right? So local restaurants, local businesses, those secret spots that you would only know about if you lived in Naples, Florida, or wherever it may be, right? Or the alternative, and I think what works out very well for people is kind of what you're doing, right? Is the clipping out short form content from your longer form stuff. So if you have something like this going, you're talking on a webinar, you have another camera next to it recording vertically, or you're clipping yourself out from this, content that you're already doing, and finding those sustainable ways to make more content, right? Because it's like, we've just gone over Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and we already have all of these ideas and all of these things to do. So TikTok for me has been more of that, like clipping it out, right? So if I'm on masterminds, if I'm on webinars, if I'm on, a speaking engagement or whatever it may be, taking that, cutting it down and using that as my content.
hosting panels in your office to build culture in your office, maybe to have other agents come, or for the public, right? So having a public panel with you and maybe 2 other agents in your office or on your team, whatever that looks like for you, and then inviting 10 or 12 people to come have some refreshments and listen to whatever the hook, the headline is that got them in there. Now recording that and putting that out there, those good 10, 60-second clips on TikTok. I like doing that because, one, you're having a reason to reach out to people in your database. That's always good, other than I'm just checking in or just following up, which obviously nobody in this webinar would say, because that is a trash way to follow up. So you're actually inviting them to something, a panel inside your office where they can learn and get value. You're experiencing some real life, situations with people in your office. So number 2, you're like building deeper relationships. And then number 3, you're recording the entire thing for the purpose of clipping them out and putting them on TikTok. Jason, what do you have for TikTok specifically?
You just nailed that. I mean, even on Instagram and Facebook too, is having a long form pillar content, a 1 hour podcast or something like that you do. And then you clip that into 5 or 6 smaller 15 to 60-second pieces of the gem that you said or the gem that you heard along the way. And then using those short form on all the platforms is actually a really smart idea. But that being said, TikTok is really interesting because so Instagram is based on your followers, people who follow you. So they show you people that you follow as a default. Whereas TikTok, they don't show you that as a default. They show you things that they think you'd be interested in. So it's an interest-based platform. So if you've gone and you've liked and you've commented and spent time on golf videos, you're going to see a lot more golf videos. And it's really interesting because like on Instagram, you can say, when I was just starting out, I had a struggle here and I grew up here. And like on TikTok, those people have already left because they don't know who you are. So they don't care about your journey. You have to get right to the point on TikTok and say, here's how I peel a banana. Here's how I do something, right? And I saw that video
because I saw that video. How's Jason, that video performing for you?
In the chat,
3,000 views on that video, by the way.
Let's just get this over with. In the chat, who peels their banana like Jason Cassity?
From the rear.
Like a complete nut job, like Cassity, and who peels it with the
top down.
So just so you can see that it's not focusing, there's over 2,500 views and over 500 likes.
We really can't see your screen. It's just you're being distracting now, Jason.
This is psychotic.
You can put your phone down.
So the whole point of the entire thing is that you're basically, I'm not getting any of the backstory as to how I grew up and I learned how to buy or peel bananas. You just get right to the point though. So same thing with your real estate though, is you can actually forget about you because these people don't know who you are, get right into the hook. And then you can actually catch people that way a lot better. Just make sure that
Did you batch any more content with that banana, or was that the
how many banana videos? I think my content strategy for November would be 30 banana videos and then 30 in December also. Same video.
Yeah.
No
Probably,
comment.
yeah. That's if you're gonna have one takeaway from this webinar, please write that down.
Exactly. So all of that content. My OnlyFans, which is also a section we'll talk about later, but no That's banana content. You don't have to do banana content. I'm just saying that I did a video where it got right to the point and it got great traction.
And also it had nothing to do with real estate, which is another thing you could experiment way more with on TikTok, is going in different directions with your content.
Krista in the chat said she'll never be able to unsee Jason peeling that banana. Cody Thompson said that was complete sus activity, the way you were peeling that banana.
It was. Kyle just said he is unfollowing you and blocking you on Instagram and making sure he isn't following you on TikTok as well.
He didn't say that at all. And I bet you I'm going to get so many followers because of my fantastic banana video on TikTok, which I would never post on Instagram. So it allows you to be a little bit more creative too. You're going to get so many more creativity or like content ideas from TikTok than you will from Instagram and Facebook, which is probably just a bunch of people that you follow who are on the same webinars doing the same things. So you're just kind of biting a lot of the same content. TikTok is the place for creativity that you can then come and repurpose back over to Instagram and Facebook.
I like where Jason's going with this because TikTok is definitely a place that people want to be entertained, so that the whole banana thing is entertaining, but people also want to learn something. Like the fact that people actually eat or peel bananas bottom to the top was fascinating to me. I never knew that. 38 years on this planet, never saw that. I learned something there, right? I think that that could be a strategy here over the next 90 days on TikTok specifically, and this would perform better on TikTok than any other platform, is if you feel like somebody in your family, maybe you or your mother or your grandmother, makes the best Thanksgiving stuffing of all time, why not record that whole process and then post that on TikTok? I believe that my mom makes the best stuffing of all time. It takes her 5 days to do it, right? So like maybe capturing that whole process. She hangs the bread on like a clothesline in the house and makes it really stale. And it's this whole thing that she goes through. On making a 60-second video around that content on TikTok would be fascinating to a lot of people and would certainly grow your brand. And I'll go to Jason here next. The second thing, there is somebody in everybody's community right now that is beating you to the punch on TikTok. I know this for a fact. They're doing voiceover, vlogging style content of all of the local coffee shops, restaurants, community hotspots, hiking trails in your community. They're not even showing their face. So for everybody not shooting video because they don't like the way they look, there's already somebody in your market, a blogger most likely, dominating you on just doing voiceovers of showing all of the key features of your community. And you should be doing that over the next 60, 90 days, over the next year. It should be a content strategy of you doing voiceovers in your community, and think about how many different things are going to be popping up over the next 2 months specifically in your community that won't be there the other 10 months just because of the holidays. Jason, go ahead.
I want to just bring it back to real estate in a sense. There's on TikTok, there's agents who are doing a fantastic job with the tools within TikTok, which is why I really like going there to get the ideas. Bob Tompkins in South Carolina has made a following with tens of thousands of followers now doing reactionary videos where he's got Jerome Powell or whatever the news of the day is in the corner and he's watching the video and then he'll react to it, but he's commenting on it, right? Or the green screen effect where you've got a news article behind you and you're kind of the green screen in the front. That started on TikTok. Even Byron's recipe thing he's talking about, to show 5 days worth, that would have been a YouTube vlog a long time ago. Now you do it where you drop the ingredient and then you drop another ingredient and it's all clipped together and you can get like a 60-second recipe. That started on TikTok. All of the stuff that we're seeing now on Instagram and Facebook came from TikTok, and you can learn by following other agents how to turn that into real estate content and grow an agent to agent following, or bring it over to Instagram where your current clients and family and friends are too.
Yeah, there is somebody in your family, and everybody's gonna be around family over the next 2 months, that does something so unique, so special that you could capture in a really cool 30 to 60-second video, or the process of, and people are gonna, and it can explode. And the thing about TikTok that's different from these other platforms is you could end up on your local news channel. You could end up on a Dave Ramsey YouTube. You could end up getting PR that you can't pay for anywhere else, that you won't even have the opportunity to pay for these placements because this video went so viral. TikTok and Instagram Reels are the only two places that are going to give you that type of virality, and TikTok more so.
That's why you also have to create more macro content on TikTok too, like the banana video that could appeal to any audience. If you're doing only local specific content about your market in Santa Monica or Tucson or something like that, that's not going to land on the For You page, except for people in those specific locations. So you really do have to do more broad macro economic content if you're talking about the real estate market, as opposed to just this specific one. Same thing goes with Reels. And I completely agree with Jason. The duets and the reaction videos, those are content gold mines. Taking something that Dave Ramsey said and then reacting to it, taking something that Grant Cardone says, like you just said, and then reacting to it. Those are giving you the ideas right there. All you have to do is refute or agree with what the person is saying. It's like a 2-sentence thing. The hook is already given to you. So doing this on TikTok and Reels is an absolute gold mine. And then you should be scrolling TikTok just for content ideas, because that's where the culture starts now. Everything you see on Instagram is 3 months behind what's happening on TikTok.
Correct. Yep.
Katie, go ahead.
I'd say that's what I really like about what Bob Tompkins is doing with his, because he has him on the screen the entire time. So it's a brand play, right? And then Dave Ramsey or whoever is in the corner, and it's a little, Grant Cardone or whoever's in the corner, and he's looking at the video over here, and then he turns to the camera and talks, but it's him on the screen the entire time. And that's the only thing I don't like about the duetting or stitching, is that you're either very small. Why do you keep putting your screen to the screen?
You can see that.
That was Bob Tompkins.
I could see it. I could see it.
I know.
It wasn't the banana again.
If you duet or stitch, like, it's going to show Grant Cardone first and then you. And some people may just scroll because they don't want to see that other person.
All right, we're running up against the gun. I want to go rapid fire on YouTube and probably email, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Jason, you had one final thought on TikTok before we go?
No, I was just saying Bob had 25,000 followers. He hasn't put up a piece of original content in months. You know what I mean? But that by jacking other people's content and reacting to it, that's a great way to interact.
Yeah, you don't have to be like overthinking this on how to create. Reacting is a great way to do it. What Gary Vaynerchuk is doing right now, Gary V has, dozens of people on staff for video production and editing and writing and all these different things. Yet one of his posts every single day on TikTok is him with a green screen of some tech article or some business article, whether it be Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal or wherever, behind him, and him just using his phone and giving his POV on the article behind him. There shouldn't be, if you have a local newspaper, if you have a local, publication, whether it be Patch, whether it be some newspaper that's been around for 55 years, there shouldn't be a headline that goes out in your community that you're not doing the green screen and giving your POV or giving the information on how it pertains to the real estate market on. You should be crushing green screens on TikTok, on Instagram Reels for anything that relates to your market. Can you repeat the name again, Byron?
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary V. Wow.
Yeah, Ryan Serhant's doing this also with real estate articles.
Yep.
That's right.
His last like 3 or 4 posts have been this. So this is clearly a new wave that is happening.
And someone coached it in real estate, because I'm seeing a lot of real estate. I mean, obviously we've talked about it a couple of times, but I'm seeing a lot of real estate agents tap onto it too. So it might be out there.
Jason's been doing it for a while too.
And
I copied you, Katie.
Green screen is a great way to reply to people in comments. Like if on TikTok you get wild comments, people are going to say things that just are not true. And so you want to prove them wrong, put the data behind you on the green screen and then reply to them in the comment, right? And it creates a whole bunch of other followers and engagement for you. Okay, so let's go rapid fire YouTube, rapid fire email. Just one thing rapid fire on YouTube should be doing right now, Katie.
I think long form video. I've written out multiple scripts for between now and the end of the year to shoot, to kick off the end of this year and beginning of next year, going back to long form, because everyone's trying shorts, everyone's posting those.
Give us one
against the grain.
Give us one script that everybody could do in their market.
I mean, top 5 reasons to move to blank, top 5 reasons not to move to blank.
Love it. So being thoughtful on the subject line, the hook, to get people in, to follow the okay, I know I'm here for 5 reasons. I want to see all 5. I'm going to watch the full video. Jason, YouTube.
Yeah, I'm my 2023 is going to be all YouTube, because I'm trying to get onto Katie's level. I think it's a huge win. But YouTube Shorts is out now, right? And so they want you want to play, do the things that they want you to do. So I think repurposing some of your content from Instagram and TikTok over onto YouTube Shorts, so that you're making sure that you're giving their new platform a try. They're going to reward that, but then just change the title a little bit to a more YouTube friendly title. So I posted a video on Instagram that was basically talking about some of the market conditions and why maybe if you're in a certain situation, you might want to wait to buy a house. And on YouTube, the title was, "This realtor thinks you shouldn't buy a house for the next 6 months," right? And so it was a more catchy YouTube-y headline or title, and that got like 2,500 views or something like that, versus my normal, I don't have a ton of YouTube followers. So use YouTube Shorts. You can even just repurpose your content over, but pick a more YouTube-y, keywordy title when you put that in.
Yeah, love that. Eric?
Giving way more calls to action throughout the YouTube videos. This is something that we need to do in more of our podcasts and shows. The walkthrough is on YouTube. You really have to tell people, like, subscribe, stay to the end of the video, because that video retention, like in every single platform we're talking about right now, is the most important aspect of it. So you need hooks throughout the entire video. Stay till the end, because if you don't watch till the end, I'll, chop my arm off or something like that. Maybe a more specific real estate example than that, but you want to keep people around and you want to tell people to like and engage with the video, you know, in the comments, drop where you're from, just very simple stuff like that to keep them engaging throughout. And that's really going to push your stuff in the algorithm.
Yeah, I love that. And if Jill, if you could in the chat, put the BAM YouTube, if we've brought you any value throughout this webinar, subscribing to the YouTube would mean a lot to us. Having those call to actions in your YouTube, like Eric's talking about, is really important for your subscription count, how long people will stay on the video. Hitting the like button actually matters towards the algorithm. So Jill, if you actually could drop our YouTube link for the BAM YouTube channel into the chat, there it is. We would love if we brought you guys any value for you to consider subscribing to that. Katie and Jason will be on the walkthrough show with Eric and I that will be released tomorrow. So we'll be talking about all the trending topics.
Check out that handle, youtube.com/thebrokeagent real estate comedy humor. I like that.
We're going to change that. Forget that. Just click on it.
Oh, you can also choose your channel
created
name.
in 2015 by me.
So here's my 2 cents on YouTube, and then we're going to get into some of these Q&As. Be thinking about who you can interview in your community that nobody else would consider interviewing, that nobody else has interviewed. How about the homeowner who's lived in your community for 25 years and you title it 25 Thanksgivings with Mrs. Smith, right? Where she talks about everything she's seen change over the years in X community. Think about the clips. If you just call the homeowner, Mrs. Smith, and say, I'm a local real estate agent. My name's Byron Lazine. I'm not calling to sell you anything. I noticed you've lived in the community for 25 years. And I want to learn from you, and I want to record it and share it with our community because you have so much experience. You have so much to share. You've seen so many things change, and you put that out around Thanksgiving time. In that hour that you spend with her, there's going to be 4 or 5 ridiculously amazing 30 to 60 second clips that are going to feed Instagram, that are going to feed TikTok. And you've come up with your long form piece of content for YouTube that's so unique that nobody's doing. And it's truly authentic, and you've built a real relationship with somebody in your community that is going to talk to other people when she's having lunch, when she's having tea with her friends. You wouldn't believe this agent came over, didn't want to sell me anything, was just interested in me, wanted me to share my experience in our community. It's really powerful stuff. Use this time of the year to capitalize on it. All right, let's go right into the Q&A. By the way, Jill, please capture all the, I know like in 3 minutes, technically the webinar, you know, we said we were going to go to 4 in the chat. If you want us to go another 10 minutes, we're absolutely willing to do that. If you guys are here for it, we're here for it. We're willing to go through as many of these questions as we can get through in 10 minutes. But Jill, make sure you capture all these questions because we'll put out some content specific to this audience, you know, in the form of videos or maybe a follow-up webinar where we can address some more of these questions. So let's just try to get through as many as we can. Martha asks, when you add captions to your IG Reels, do you do this in your editing software or do you do that in the IG app? We do it with editors. So they're using Adobe, but Real Human overlaying, edit, and these little clips that you see us doing can take up to 2 hours per clip. Some of them can take 2.5 hours. That being said, just recording on your phone and using in-app features like the, you know, any overlay text or captions is just fine. Using the green screen feature, just fine. Justin, content wise, how far is going too far in a video skit? Eric, go ahead.
I mean, I've kind of developed a sense for this after 7 years of posting kind of funny content. So you don't really want to be offensive to like a specific group or anything like that. You're not trying to alienate anyone. I think using too many curse words in your post could actually harm its engagement as well. I think using a well-timed shit or, you know, the F word or something like that can help emphasize a joke. But if you litter your entire videos with curse words, it's going to hurt the engagement, definitely. So that's something I would do in terms of going too far. There's just certain topics you don't want to discuss that I don't really need to mention, but I think testing it, maybe send it to your friends, send it to other agents, send it to your family and be like, hey, is this offensive to anybody? And see what they say, basically. But the more funny content, the more edgy content you post, I think you'll really start to figure out and get that, like, you know, sense as to, this is too far. This is not really worth what I'm going to get. Is this going to make people unfollow me? Is this going to offend people? Is this going to actually hurt my audience? Is it worth that risk? Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is.
Okay, so we have another question from Steve. What app or service are you using for the captions? By the way, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube. Jill can drop that link again. Make sure you're following along on the newsletter. We're going to provide full education on exactly what we're doing in simple forms. Again, to answer that question again, because we get this question all the time. Bobby, our lead producer, gets DMs about it all the time. Our editors are doing this in Adobe, actually editing. We're going to teach everybody how to do it. So make sure you're following along. The next couple of months, we'll come out with the information on how to access that. There's not an app that's a simple problem solver out there for this. Like, if you really want the good text overlays, it is about editing. We're going to share all that information. We're putting it all together now. Megan, how are you handling the new algorithm? There's way less views than before on Instagram. I think it's a huge opportunity. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it, right? And you can, until you change Instagram, you can diversify, like Eric talked about, and trying some of your content on TikTok first or YouTube Shorts first, but Instagram sets the rules. So that you can either pay to play and you can sponsor your posts to get more views, or you just continue posting kind of in the vein that they want. You know what I mean? You give them more. I think that there's almost a little bit of a quantity over quality on that one. Just continue posting more. And then if you want people to see it, to continue to get to the views from before, you pay for it.
Jason,
I think the quality, though, is creating content that has better engagement or better questions, right?
Yeah.
So things that are going to have people comment and like and share, as opposed to just posting something that people will look at, like, and move on, right? So the comments are going to be what spurs it to get more juice.
You're going to get less views on most of your videos, but you're going to have some videos that are going to go extremely viral. So Byron mentioned this in your speech. Byron, you have a video that has, like, what, 15 million views or something like that?
It's almost 20 now.
20 million views. And if you look at some of Byron's posts, you know, it's 10,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Like, it's about the at-bats, as you said in your speech, Byron. It's just posting that quantity. Yeah, he gave a speech where he said this exact thing, and I'm just pirating everything, but that's completely okay, because he's my partner in BAM, right, Byron?
Finish your points, because I have a point to make.
Yes. So it's about the at-bats that you get, and then you're going to have some that explode way later on. So I'm having videos that are popping off 2 months down the line. So you just want to post delayed explosions. Exactly. So, and then it's also the retention for the new algorithm is everything. Hook, retention throughout, and then a CTA at the end. You ask that question. That's the perfect formula to attack this algorithm.
Jason said, some people in the chat were talking about how Jason talks fast, but there's a lot of value packed into a lot of what everybody on the panel is saying. But Jason said something that he kind of just brushed over, but it's exactly the answer to this question. How are you handling the new algorithm? He said at one point, give them what they want. Give the algorithm what they want. So on Instagram, because this is the question from Megan specifically, Instagram wants you to post reels. So if you're posting, you know, static images 75% of the time, you need to reverse that. And 75% of your posts need to be reels. And some views are going to be down, but you're giving yourself more of these opportunities for one of them to spike up and have exponential growth on the views, on the following, on everything. Katie,
slideshows.
Katie, how long until you start to recycle record your topics for your videos?
I actually haven't recycled any actual videos, right? Like reposting an old video. Some topics I've redone just because the same general topic may be the same, but the market shifted some. So now I could repost the same video, but a different verbiage or words. So, I mean, really, I just keep a note on my phone with content ideas, and I write down ideas as I have them. And sometimes it's the same thing. So I've talked about interest rate locks multiple times. I've talked about floating down rates multiple times, buying down rates, stuff like that. But, like, it changes as the market changes.
Absolutely. My advice would be, you know, as short as 2 weeks. And then as long as the content is still relevant, you could post the same video 2 weeks later. Trust me, your entire following has not seen the video from 2 weeks ago. So don't get confused on that. Somebody over in the chat just asked, if attempting to shoot edit by myself, what gear do you recommend? We wrote an entire ebook on the gear. Jill, if you could put the ebook in the chat so people could download that, that would be amazing. So we did an entire ebook on all the gear and everything you need to do this stuff.
The How to Start a Podcast ebook. We have an ebook on everything.
Exactly. Yeah, if you go to brokeagentmedia.com and you go to the ebooks, it's definitely up on there. On that page, there's a variety of ebooks.
We have an ebook on how to tie your tie in the morning, how to shave and get this perfect neckline. We have an ebook on that.
Is that from Tom Toole?
We have an ebook on how
certainly does not know how to write an ebook
on how to have a good background and not look like Dan O'Neill. Okay, Sally. Sam. Sam. That was Sam's. Sally said, "Are your home tour videos also filmed in batches?" I think those are gonna have to be spur of the moment, right? But go ahead, Katie.
We do batch some. So we will do, obviously, like when you have a listing, you can't wait 2 weeks to shoot, right? Or hold other listings. You have to shoot those as needed. But we'll go to new construction communities. In Texas, we have a lot of the master plan communities, and we'll hit 5 or 7 different properties and model homes and just shoot all of them.
I've seen, specifically in Florida, Texas, obviously, Katie's a great example. Anywhere where there's a lot of new construction, putting out a ton of content as if you're the reporter of these communities that you don't even have the listings to is a great way to start getting SEO traffic when people are searching these communities. Because I know my wife and I, we drive around, we look at all kinds of different communities in Florida. We start as a consumer would start Googling information. What do I see popping up? Local agents who are putting out content on that community, and they're not even associated with the builder. They don't even have any listings in there yet, but they're putting out enough content to put themselves in position to be the resource to work with the buyers, which obviously is going to translate 2-3 years down the road to getting the resales and the listings. Cindy, I love the filters that are available on IG to make you look younger. Are there filters outside of IG? I don't know. Eric, what do you do for the hairline filter? Don't you have a hairline filter or something?
I wish. Yeah, I'm going to go to Turkey and get a hair transplant. That's what I'm going to do, a permanent filter. You take Propecia twice a day. That's what you do.
I don't know. And does anybody have any advice for Cindy on the filter for looking younger?
No.
All right.
No.
Sorry, Cindy. Cindy, here's a filter to look younger. Look at the voiceover content that's crushing it on TikTok and do some voiceovers. Nobody even see it. Scott, can you give us some examples of Facebook groups? I don't know what it's called in your community, Scott, but I know for sure there's moms of X community. There's communities around school systems. Somebody in the chat mentioned that there's even dad communities or interest communities like hiking or banana peeling or anything that's going on in your neighborhood, right? That there's probably a Facebook community or a group of it. Just start asking some of the people that have lived there, maybe going back to my example of like the long form content, ask the people that have lived there for a while what they're on and where they're finding information. Samantha, do you have opinions about reach from posting directly within native apps as opposed to posting using Meta Business Suite? Who wants to take that one?
I think posts always perform a little bit better if you film organically in the app. If you don't film on the app, at least do some sort of editing feature in the app, whether that is applying a filter, using stickers, using captions, using audio. I will always do some sort of editing within the TikTok or the reel. So I don't think they necessarily suppress content, but I think that if you do some sort of editing in the app, it'll help perform better.
Captions for sure, because when you burn the caption in, you can get the cooler emojis and the colors and stuff. So you do that, your videographer does that ahead of time. But if you leave that off and you put the captions in from Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, when they make the captions, they're creating a text file for your video, which is loaded with all your keywords that you're saying. So you're saying San Diego real estate, moving to San Diego, whatever you're saying in the video. So that is tied in. So when people are searching for those words, your video is more likely to pop up if you use the captions natively versus having it burnt in from your videographer.
On top of that, Jason, I just want to say from an Instagram perspective and TikTok just added their amount of caption characters to 2,200, I think, right, Byron? It was, I don't even know what it was.
That's correct.
Before,
2,200, yeah.
Basically nothing. So the longer your captions, the more SEO specific you could get with your captions using the keywords in your local market, using real estate, realtor, using these words. It's really going to help with your discoverability and searchability.
There's a
long
quick
captions.
question. What is vertical video? It's the phone vertically, not horizontally. So you want to be shooting all your video that's going on in short form content vertically.
Even your videographer, make sure that they're using the camera vertically versus like horizontally.
Yeah. If you post a
100%.
horizontal video to Instagram right now, it will do absolutely nothing. Anytime you see a horizontal video, scroll right by it.
Yeah. So love that you guys stayed with us. We went 10 minutes over. We said we'd go another 10 minutes, and we've now done that. It's 4:10. The rest of these questions, Jill, you better have captured them. Really hope you captured those, Jill. Jill, put in the chat that you captured them before I lose my mind.
Have captured
Jill,
them.
Jill says she did. The rest of those questions, we're gonna write a blog and deliver that to everybody that attended this webinar in a private email, thanking you guys obviously for coming on, and then we'll deliver that blog directly to you in that thank you email, answering the rest of these questions. We appreciate all of you for coming in. Katie, Jason, Eric, any final thoughts?
Yeah, follow Katie, follow Jason, follow Byron.
100%.
He doesn't have his ad in here now, but he's exploding on Instagram right now at Byron Lazine. Follow Broke Agent Media on Instagram. Go to the brokeagentmedia.com website every single day. We're dropping 5 blogs a day. We have a show every day on our YouTube channel. So keep consuming our content because we're giving tips like this on a daily basis.
I second what Eric said. Follow Move Me to Texas. Katie has one of the most thoughtful, I always say the best brand in all of real estate when it comes to team branding. She's thought it through. Definitely follow Katie and follow Jason. Jason, I don't see your on yours though. So what's your at?
It's there. Jason Cassity.
Okay, at Jason.
Other side, Jason. Other side.
At Jason Cassity.
Yeah, there you go.
And definitely follow Jason, putting out really thoughtful content all the time. Appreciate you guys. Really want everybody to crush it over the next 60, 90 days. The agents who go all in take the risk to invest over the next 60, 90 days while everybody else is retreating or using the holidays as an excuse to post less. The ones that post more, the ones that invest more now are going to win in 2023. We'll do some more of these webinars. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.
Go